A lot has been going on for Jinger Duggar Vuolo since the release of her latest book last month. In order to promote her book, People Pleaser, Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations, the 31-year-old mother has taken part in interviews. After years of conforming to other people's expectations, she finally discovered her own path to independence, and she loves telling her story. This interview was different for Jinger, however, since she discussed her most embarrassing experience as a mother. To see her remarks, continue reading. Not long ago, Jinger posted snippets from her ideal crossover on social media. Counting On Story and Little People, Big World's Zach Roloff were guests on the Counting On podcast. Many facets of life were discussed, with a focus on their shared interests and experiences. In addition, Jinger praised Tori and Zach for their maturity in the face of the negative comments and scrutiny they received online. During the show, Zach also revealed some interesting facts about his family. One of them came clean about his family's Star Wars connection, saying that his dad was an Ewok. Jinger Duggar Vuolo recently discussed her struggles with water in an interview. The former Counting On star said that she swam never in her childhood and that she thinks it could have been tough to learn because everyone wore long swim skirts. "I had no idea how to swim," she continued. "That was something I felt ashamed about for a long time." Nevertheless, Jinger came to terms with her worries upon relocating to Los Angeles in 2019, where water was abundant. "Water is everywhere," she went on to say. "After I had kids and we were in LA. Since it seems like everyone else has a pool, she has no alternative but to begin swimming lessons. A Hawaiian buddy stepped in to provide her a hand. Learning the fundamentals of swimming was a process that took her some time. One day it clicked, and it was amazing because I was like, I'm so glad I didn't give up," she said afterwards. "At last, I feel confident enough to swim and leap into our deep pool." In addition to her fear of swimming, Jinger Duggar Vuolo has spoken about her fear of horses in an earlier interview. The former Counting On actress claims she had a terrifying mishap when the horse she was riding began to freak out as they approached a nearby body of water. It transpired throughout the course of their reality show's production. It was assumed by everyone that the horse disliked water. After that incident, Jinger decided she didn't want to be involved with horses again. Jessica Duggar fans have adored Vuolo, a longtime favorite of the Duggar family, since she has always been brave and has refused to conform to her overly traditional upbringing. Jinger has left her Arkansas origins behind and is now living it up in Los Angeles, thanks to her marriage to Jeremy Vuolo, a former professional soccer player. She may have moved from a tiny village to a big metropolis, but it hasn't stopped her from facing the trials and tribulations and humorous mishaps of parenting. Jinger recently came clean about an embarrassing incident with her mother that made her laugh and cringe. Felicity and Evangeline, Jinger and Jeremy's kids, are the products of their 2016 marriage. Any parent worth their salt will tell you that parenting is a wild and wonderful adventure, full of both predicted periods of calm and unexpected upheaval. Despite Jinger's penchant for giving fans peeks into her personal life via interviews and social media, she recently discussed an occurrence that made her feel surprised and delighted. In an open and honest segment of her podcast, Jinger recounted a mishap that occurred on a family excursion. "It was a day when everything was going swimmingly, until it didn't," she said, laughing. As part of Felicity and Evangeline's daily ritual, she had accompanied them to a nearby coffee shop, she said. Evangeline abruptly decided she didn't want to be in the stroller. Felicity was enthusiastically chatting with the barista about her favorite animal, penguins, of course, and I had just gotten my coffee. According to Jinger, her youngest daughter escaped the safety straps in an instant and ran excitedly toward the condiment station, where she eagerly grabbed sugar packets and napkins. Felicity tried to block her sister's way as Jinger frantically snatched her child, but she tripped and sent Jinger's freshly poured coffee flying into the air. A customer's shoes, the counter, and the floor were all splattered by the cup's violent fall. "It was like being in a slow-motion movie where you watch the disaster happen, but are powerless to stop it," Jinger said, smiling as she recalled the event. As Jinger hurriedly attempted to clean up and apologize, Felicity innocently turned to the surprised client, whose once pristine white shoes were now stained with coffee, and stated, "Mommy makes messes sometimes." This embarrassing situation was further intensified I could have melted into the floor, Jinger said. I felt so embarrassed, but the woman was really nice and laughed about it. Jinger was embarrassed at first, but she gradually came to see that the situation was just another example of how parenthood is full of surprises and messes and moments that are embarrassing now but make great tales later. Many of Jinger's admirers were compelled to share their own stories of parenting fail after hearing her tale. Wow, Jinger, I've been in a lot of situations similar to this. My kid once chuckled as he tossed a whole carton of blueberries down the aisle of the grocery store. One mother put it this way: parenting is 90% acting in charge while your toddler is truly in charge. In her responses, Jinger expressed her gratitude to her fans for reassuring her that she is not alone in the wild journey of motherhood. The methods in which Jinger has decided to parent differently from her upbringing have garnered her attention for quite some time. There were very rigid expectations for how children should behave, what they should learn, and how they should be dressed as they were growing up in the Duggar home. Since becoming a mother herself, Jinger has taken a more progressive stance, which includes letting her girls wear slacks and promoting an adventurous spirit. In addition to keeping Felicity and Evangeline's faces off social media, she and Jeremy have been open about their desire to bring up their children away from the limelight. Fans may miss out on seeing the Vuolo's everyday lives, but they may still get a peek into Jinger's path because to her candor about her experiences. A lesson that may be learned from Jinger's awkward incident in the coffee shop is that the best way to deal with the curveballs that come with being a parent is to laugh it off. According to Jinger, I think every mom has a moment where she's like, wow, that was not my finest hour. However, she emphasized that it is these moments that really make life unique. Recognizing that perfection isn't the aim, what matters most are love, patience, and a decent sense of humor, is giving oneself grace as a parent, she said. Fans are hoping that Jinger will keep sharing these honest moments after her disclosure. As a woman and mother who forged her own path while coming from a very regimented background, her relatability and honesty have been much admired. Jinger is still beloved by many, even though she is no longer featured on reality TV. Her charisma comes from her genuine connections with other parents, which add to her charm. Jinger Duggar Vuolo is clearly enjoying parenting in all its gorgeous, chaotic glory, whether it's spilled coffee, toddler meltdowns, or anything else.